Hello and welcome in. Another Friday is here, and we appreciate you spending it with us here on Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you for the next hour, recapping we had, talk about a night last night. You had yourself a night, regardless of what you were watching. If you were watching something in the sports world, it was pretty darn entertaining. So, we have a lot to get to today. You had the NBA Finals kicking off. You have the College World Series going on for softball. We finally got the big announcement we'd all been waiting for in the NFL. So much for us to get to. Of course, you have Super Regionals coming up tonight as Auburn will get underway in their set with Coastal Carolina. That's going to be an 8 o'clock first pitch going on tonight. You had the Braves. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, if you saw what happened with the Braves yesterday, you know where I'm going with this. But yeah, once you think things can't get any worse, they somehow can, and that's exactly what happened yesterday with the Braves. We've got the Birmingham Stallions coming up on Sunday as they're going to host Michigan in the USFL playoffs. So, ton of stuff to get to. Going to be great. Going to be a great show today. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Hopefully we get you started off right here today. And we're not going to do a Mount Rushmore or anything like that today, but I do have some college football questions that I want to ask Damian in terms of maybe some national championship contenders, as well as some of the hard times for Damian as a fan. So some things that we'll get to later on, and would love to have your input at 205-834-9450. So let's start off. We don't do this normally, but we try to throw in, our NBA updates throughout the postseason because I know me and Damian tend to lock in around the playoffs. But you had last night game one of the NBA Finals, and I'll be completely honest. Similar to if anybody else was a psycho and stayed up super late last night and was watching SVP after the game. Scott Van Pelt came on SportsCenter and he essentially said, "Hey, I did an entire show or I prepared for an entire show based off of the Oklahoma City winning game one of the NBA Finals. And, were they going to get a sweep? Was it going to be a 5-game set?" But he said all of his prep went into Oklahoma City winning that game. And then he ended up interviewing Tyrese Halliburton on the show afterwards, and he had to kind of own up to that. And I think that's how just about everybody felt going into that game last night. Oklahoma City was a 9.5-point favorite playing at home in the NBA Finals. They were a massive favorite in this series, and they played that way through the first 3 quarters and some change of the game, Damian. You were up 12 at halftime. You were up by 15 with 9.5 minutes to go in the game last night. And then a flip switched for the Indiana Pacers, and they found a way after being down 15 with under 10 minutes to go. They end up with the 111-110 win yesterday over the Oklahoma City Thunder. So you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of the league this year, just an absolute dominant force there on the hardwood. He had 38 points last night for OKC, but as the time was dwindling down, SGA, he goes down the court, pulls up a mid-range shot, would have put the Thunder up 3. He would have been in a really good position. Doesn't get it, banks off the back iron. Pacers get the rebound, drive down the floor, and this is what you heard on ABC. So there you had it. Tyrese Halliburton, he pulls up from the right wing, hits a deep 2, puts Indiana up 111-110. At that point, all you can really do is a tip play if you're OKC. Obviously wasn't going to pan out for them. So Indiana escapes with a 1-point win in game 1. So they go up on OKC 1-0. And how about this, Damian? This is one of the more impressive stats I've heard in a long time. So now Tyrese Halliburton has 4 game-tying or go-ahead field goals made in the final 5 seconds of either regulation or overtime. Not for his career. This postseason, in the last 2 months, this man has hit essentially four game-winning shots. And then he had a 5th one that sent a game to overtime, and it didn't count for the win, but it sent the game to overtime. So he almost has 5. But yeah, for this postseason, essentially game-winning buzzer beater or damn near at it for Tyrese Halliburton, as he has certainly made a name for himself, and all of the doubters that came out last year when he couldn't perform in the postseason. That's not the case anymore.
The theme, Alabama had last year was little naysayer. No, and I will tell you right now, I was a Tyrese Halliburton naysayer.
I was too.
I was just like, I don't see the superstar in him. Like,
he's a good player, but that's it.
Right. I never put him in this category. Like, even when he was playing for the U.S. national team, I was just like, why is he out there?
He was just happy to be there.
Yeah, right. But what he's done in this postseason, and now in game 1 of the NBA Finals against literally the best team in NBA in the OKC against the MVP, he's been doing it all season. Like, it's one thing to kind of, there's one thing to be presented with new information or presented with this information and still hate. Like, that's just a personal opinion. Now you cannot deny it, and I have to give Tyrese Halliburton his flowers because I didn't think he had it in him. I thought he was just like a goofy dude. He's just happy. Like you said, he's happy to be there. I never thought he had that clutch gene truly in him. Oh, it's unleashed. And the things for the Indiana Pacers is, even last night, and it's kind of been one of their I guess you'd say themes of the postseason. Not to say that they're bored in the first half, but it's almost like they play they fill it out.
Mm-hmm.
And right when I think, okay, y'all have waited too long to turn it on, it's just enough time. I think, 2:09 left, OKC was up by 11 points. And for Indiana to amount the comeback that they did, their role players all maximize in their role.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's so unique, because even OKC is a good team, but it's just the more I watch Indiana, the more I just come away like, man, if there's a team that knows exactly who they are and what they have to do game in and game out, it's Indiana. And I had a feeling that they could get game 1. By the third quarter, I was kind of, okay, yeah, I think OKC's probably about to put them out.
Mm-hmm.
Because OKC had so many opportunities to absolutely blow the doors off of them, but they kept them in the game. And it comes down to a last-second shot by Tyrese Halliburton. And, I mean, I have to give him his credit. Like, the Sun Gun is not afraid of the moment, and he doesn't blink at the moment. So, congratulations to the Pacers, jump out on a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, no, I certainly didn't see that one coming, and I'll be the first to admit, we had kind of joked about it. I've said it here the last couple of days. No one's going to watch this NBA Finals. It doesn't, it's just not an intriguing matchup for a lot of people, and if we get a lot of games like this, we're on trajectory to have one of the better NBA Finals, at least in recent memory. So, an incredible game last night. Again, I know a lot of you probably don't watch the NBA, but maybe give it a try. We tried to convince you a couple times. That was an absolutely fantastic basketball game last night. So, yeah, congrats to the Pacers. They take a 1-0 lead on Tyrese Halliburton's essentially buzzer beater with 0.3 seconds left there. So, an exciting start to the NBA Finals for the Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, we did have another exciting finish in the world of sports yesterday. It just wasn't on the right end of many of our listeners because that was the Atlanta Braves as they had the early game yesterday. And, not to kick on someone while they're down because he handled it like a true professional. But this was all transpiring, just for some context. All of this was going down as we were wrapping up 3-man front yesterday. So we're feeling good. Oh man, we put in a good 4 hours. This was a good show. And as it's happening, I just see Landrum over here where I'm sitting right now with the game pulled up on his computer, just keeping tabs on what's going on with the Braves. And you could just see before his very eyes the fabrics of reality unraveling before him. So if you missed the game yesterday, absolutely brutal. So Atlanta, they go up early. The bats get hot for them. They had back-to-back-to-back doubles in the third inning. So they went up 6-0 after the third. They were able to scrape across a couple runs a little bit later. Arizona picks up a few. So going into the ninth inning, it was 10-4 Atlanta. 10-4. You're up 6 runs, and you need 3 outs. So naturally, what happens? The Diamondbacks score 7 runs in the bottom of the ninth inning, in the top of the ninth inning to take an 11-10 lead, and then Atlanta with the chance to come up to the plate can't do anything. And so the Braves fall 11-10 to the Diamondbacks yesterday. You had a pair of home runs in the ninth. You had an RBI single. You had another RBI single. Then you had an RBI double. Just an absolute. I, there's not even really words for it at this point. I don't know what to say to you, Braves fans. I feel sorry for you, honestly. I know it's got to be tough. But that's just, I mean, when you think things can't get any worse than that, they absolutely do. And again, just to waste such a good offensive performance, because that's been such a big issue for the Braves. You know, Austin Riley has a home run, Acuna has a home run, Ozzy Albies has an RBI double. Like, you're getting contributions from all of the people that you need to contribute, and then you have a bullpen that just absolutely collapses for you. As Blewett, funny. Yeah, but Blewett, he gives
Very
up.
fitting.
Yeah, he gives up 5 earned. Iglesias gives up 3 earned runs there in the late in the game in the ninth inning, and Atlanta now falls to 27-34 on the season. Things not going great for them. You're 11 games back in the National League East there, and the good news is you have the Rockies next weekend, so maybe that's an opportunity to pick up some wins. But they did just sweep the Marlins, so I guess you can never count anything out. And now you're going to travel to San Francisco, and tonight you are going to take on the Giants at 9:15. You'll be able to hear that on JOX 94.5. That's a late game. And Giants are good, so that's going to be a tough road trip for Atlanta, but hopefully they can pick themselves up after last night, because that was rough. And a man that's been catching some heat lately, and somebody's going to have to take it when a team's playing this badly. It's Brian Snitker, the manager there of the Atlanta Braves, and these are some of his comments after the Braves lose in spectacular fashion to the Diamondbacks yesterday. Yeah, that's it.
I feel like he was biting his tongue a little bit about what he really wanted to say.
Yeah, and he had said something before that. I couldn't find the audio of it, but I know that reporters were saying that, he said, well, we're not a bad team. We're a good team that's playing bad. I think right now, you're just a bad team right now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you can just tell everybody looks defeated. They sound defeated. There's no, as Landrum, he'd know better than me, but just based on talking to him and hearing his perspective, it's, the season's over in a lot of people's minds. I think at this point, I know there's a long ways to go, and you never know what could happen, but they don't look like they want to be there when they're on the field, and that's a tough one to overcome there. And a lot of that has to come with why people put a little pressure on Brian Snitker of, hey, man, you're kind of losing the clubhouse here. So we'll see if the Braves can get things turned around in San Francisco this weekend, but that's certainly going to be a tough series for them there. So that's recapping some of what you missed from last night, but we did have a little more action. We have a Game 3 coming up tonight in Oklahoma City. No, not in the NBA Finals, in the Women's College World Series. We'll tell you how we got to Game 3, and we'll also dive into the big NFL news. We'd all been waiting for it. It was definitely going to happen, and then it definitely wasn't going to happen, and then yesterday it finally happened. If you missed it, we'll tell you what that was on the other side of Morning JOX and JOX 94.5. 618, welcome back in. Appreciate you joining us here on your Friday morning. Conrad and Damien here with you until 7 o'clock when we will hand you off to McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. So we did have game 2 last night in Oklahoma City, as that was the place to be in the sports world last night, as you had not only the NBA Finals going on, but also the Women's College World Series Finals, as Texas and Texas Tech did battle. So it was Texas in game 1 pulling out the victory there, now looking to collect their trophy and bring a title back to the SEC last night, but Texas Tech said not so fast, as they pull off the 4-3 victory there over the Longhorns, and a pretty wild game. So it was scoreless until the 5th inning. That's when things got going for Texas Tech. They're able to pick up the first 2 runs of the game. Actually, they had the bases loaded, and then they get a hit batter, so that brings in a run. And then you got a wild pitch right after that, and that brought in another run. So Texas Tech gets their first 2 runs of the game in an unconventional manner. But then Texas did hit a home run to make it 2-1. Tech came back in the bottom of the 6th, added 2 more runs to make it 4-1. Texas then comes back in the 7th, and you thought that they were about to come back and tie it or even potentially win it there, as they were making Texas Tech sweat there. But they pick up 2 runs in the 7th. It's 4-3 Texas with 2 outs. You have a runner on third, and you get a strikeout. And that's how the game ends for Texas Tech, as Texas was threatening, had the go-ahead runner at the plate, the tying run on third base. But Canada pays off for her good ROI still for Texas Tech of their $1 million transfer pitcher. So she gets revenge for the first game in the series. She was masterful last night, as Canada went a complete game, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks through 107 pitches. Her ERA on the season is 0.9.
That's insane.
0.9. That is quite good. So I would imagine that she's probably going to be pitching yet again tonight, and you're just going to let it rip. So yeah, you're going to get game 3 of that series coming up tonight on ESPN. A winner take all in the Women's College World Series. And again, I understand. I don't like having to pull for Texas for stuff either. I don't like the fact that they came into this league and decided, oh yeah, we're just going to be really good at every sport now. It's kind of annoying, isn't it? But for the bigger picture, I will root for Texas, because I would rather us have a title than the Big 12.
Exactly.
And it'd be kind of funny to see Patrick Mahomes be upset, because he was very excited last night at the game. They showed him a lot. So that's what's going on there in Oklahoma City, as we get a winner-take-all game 3 coming up later tonight. You do have your super regionals going on in college baseball as well. A quick reminder, so you have Auburn. They're the only SEC team in play today. So you have 4 games today, then you're going to get all 8 tomorrow. But so Auburn will take on Coastal Carolina at 8 p.m. They have the late game today. You're going to have Arizona, North Carolina at 11. That's the first one. Then Miami and Louisville at 2 o'clock. Florida State, Oregon State at 5. And then Auburn, Coastal Carolina will be the nightcap at 8 o'clock. And you can watch that on ESPN2. Then tomorrow, you're going to have more early baseball. Louisville, Miami at 10. North Carolina, Arizona, 11 a.m. Murray State and Duke is at noon. West Virginia and LSU, that's going to be 1 o'clock. And you get 3 straight SEC matchups. So you've got LSU going at 1 o'clock. You got Auburn in the second game of their set at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then you have Tennessee, Arkansas at 4 p.m. And then you're going to have UTSA versus UCLA and Oregon State and Florida State there to wrap it up. And of course, then they will play on Sunday if necessary for those game 3s. So hope everyone's able to make it out to Plainsman Park. If you missed the announcement yesterday, it looks like they have some new seating available somewhere in the outfield. It looks like they created some sort of deck that you're going to be able to go out there and hang out and try to catch home run ball, something like that. So if you're looking for more tickets, looks like they're trying to make as many of those available to you Auburn fans as possible. So how about some news from the NBA, though, Damien? I know this one made you just brought a big fat smile to your face, I'm sure, when this was announced yesterday. But we finally got the announcement. The Pittsburgh Steelers have needed a quarterback. There's one out there that has been doing God knows what this offseason. And it looks like he's now going to be headed to Pittsburgh next week as they start mandatory training camp. So yesterday, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers agree on a 1-year deal. He will be the Steelers quarterback this upcoming year. It was the ultimate will he or won't he? And he drug him along for quite some time, Damian, but ultimately he decides to go to Pittsburgh and probably wishes that George Pickens was still there alongside DK Metcalf. But hey, maybe they can go out there and make an addition. But what was your reaction? Were you just glad that we're kind of done with the drama of this, or are you excited to watch Mr. Rogers play for the Steelers?
It's kind of one of those things that if you were on Twitter yesterday, it kind of was it was information that you kind of like knew was going to happen, but there were other things that you were scrolling for, and it was kind of so they officially is going to Pittsburgh. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I've seen Aaron Rodgers for the past 2-3 years. Father Time is undefeated, and it's starting to show that Aaron Rodgers is very, very far away and removed from what his prime used to be. But I mean, for Pittsburgh, he sells a couple more tickets and jerseys than Russell Wilson did last year. So be it. But
Are the Steelers better today than they were yesterday?
I think they're about the same. It's just more name recognition.
Okay.
They had Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph, hey, from what I know as a Titans fan, he's about as good as Aaron Rodgers was last year.
Well, if you heard him at the Trump rally, Donald Trump made him sound like Tom Brady. Like, man, have you watched him play?
That's what Elon's really mad about him. Mad at him about. He's like, wait a minute, did you see him at the Tennessee Titans last year?
You want to talk about some funny stuff on Twitter?
No. It's insane. They say this is the Kendrick and Drake beef for Republicans.
Yeah, there were.
It's hilarious.
Man, there were some that I saw that we absolutely cannot talk about on the show, but they were hilarious. And it also is just it's funny, and then it's a joke in a joke itself when you realize that all of these are being made on a platform that is owned by one of the people involved in this. So yeah, interesting day on Twitter yesterday with all that stuff going on. No doubt about it. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers now, and as fate would have it, you know who the Steelers play Week 1 this year?
That would be the New York Jets.
That would be correct, Damian. So sometimes it all just works out, and the NFL has a good sense of humor about
the
things.
Script writers, see,
they knew it was going to be really. See that, and that was one of those where it was very apparent what they were doing with that game. And if he ended up just retiring and not signing with the Steelers, it was going to be really funny because that would have been a horrible game. A Mason Rudolph-led Steelers versus the Jets. Who's watching that? Nobody. But now the NFL gets what they wanted, and they look like geniuses because, yes, the Steelers will take on the Jets in Week 1 of the upcoming season. So that's the big NFL news from yesterday. We do have football going on this weekend here in the great city of Birmingham, as that will be the Birmingham Stallions getting ready to host the Michigan Panthers. So we're going to take a quick break, come back on the other side. Know we have someone on hold that wants to talk about the Stallions, and we'll just give you a little breakdown of the third meeting now this season between Michigan and Birmingham, but with a lot more on the line this time. So we'll be right back here on the Friday edition of Morning JOX. Well, it all is going down on Sunday at Protective Stadium as the Birmingham Stallions are hosting the Michigan Panthers in the USFL portion of the UFL playoff. So the winner of this game will go on to face the winner of the XFL side of the bracket in the ultimate UFL championship game. So this is the semifinals. That's the layman's terms for you. The semifinals of the UFL postseason coming up this Sunday at Protective Stadium. Hope many of you are going to be headed out there. I know I'll be out there as well as my wife. I know Damien, you're going out there. Landrum, Pat, Molly, I think we're all planning to be out there together. So should be a big time. Know a lot of you are going to show up, and let's pack out Protective for the final home game of the season as the Stallions look to four-peat. But it is the third time, Damien, that we're going to face the hated Michigan Panthers. Never lost to them, though. Never done that. And not just this year, but in the history of the Birmingham Stallions, never lost to Michigan. But going to be a little bit of a different matchup this time. We got to talk with Skip Holtz yesterday on three-man front, and just kind of talking about how, the first game they played, because they played in the second week of the season, and at that point, you had a completely different quarterback situation for Birmingham. We didn't really know. Bryce Perkins hadn't, I guess, arrived yet at that point for Michigan. And then when we played a couple weeks ago, Bryce Perkins was out. You had Jamar Smith who had come in. And so it was just kind of a different look for both of the first two matchups. And now it finally looks like you're going to get both of these teams, Damian, at 100% or as close as you can be at this point in the season. So are you expecting any struggles for the Stallions? Do you think it's going to be a pretty clean victory? What do you think Bryce Perkins and the Panthers are going to be able to do to potentially get past Birmingham?
The biggest thing for Birmingham is defensive line. They have to make sure they cause some sort of disruption early on, because there's one place on the field that we're gettable. It's in the secondary. The secondary has been kind of inconsistent for the past couple of weeks. Now, last week, completely different ball game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what you wanted to see from the secondary with Tay Crowder, having two pick sixes. But Bryce Perkins has been cooking. Now, how healthy is he going to be? If he's close to 100%, yeah, you're gonna have to. Your defensive line is gonna have to play exceptionally well to kind of disrupt some things, because Michigan was able to run the ball pretty good, pretty effectively on us a couple weeks ago here in Protective, even with Bryce being out. So the thing is that up front, you're gonna have to cause some sort of disruption early on. I think offensively, just keep doing what you've been doing ever since Jamar Smith has been in the lineup. The offense has been cooking. They've been taking their shots. They've been very calculated. They've been able to incorporate more of a run game. So I think, it's, to me, Bryce Perkins may be the best quote-unquote player, but I still think Birmingham is the better team because they have their identity, especially on the offensive side. It's not just kind of, I guess you say hero ball that Bryce Perkins plays and kind of just figure things out. I think we're more balanced and we have the plan of attack. We'll also have Deion Kane, receiver for the Birmingham Stallions, on Mac and Cube later on today. I think he's coming up at about 7:40, so he'll be up close to the 8 o'clock hour. So he'll be able to kind of sprinkle some nuggets of information of how they're going to attack the game. But I do think that, with us being at home, it fares well for us to have success on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. So pack out Protective. Let's make it 3-0 against Michigan this season and send the Birmingham Stallions to their fourth consecutive championship game, because we really want to bring that four-peat back to Birmingham. Well, somebody we know, big Stallions fan, has been waiting patiently on hold. That's our buddy Don Don, who we'll bring in now. How you doing on your Friday morning, Don Don?
Hello, everybody. How you guys doing?
Can't complain, brother. Can't complain. You excited for Sunday?
I am, and that's why I wanted to call to have I got to preach a little bit, Conrad and Damien.
All right.
Okay, I got a question for everybody in Birmingham. If it rains, how many hundreds and hundreds of ball games have we all gone to? Alabama, Auburn, UAB, or anybody that we our teams that we love. How many times have we gone to a game in the rain? A little rain ain't gonna hurt nobody, right?
Hey, I'll be there, rain or shine.
Maybe three or four.
Well, yeah, and also, hey, Damien, that's going to be perfect for you, man. Just wear your bathing suit and be in the shirtless section. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Sometimes
Damien.
an idea should just stay an idea.
I mean, with your shirt off, I mean, hey, it ain't going to hurt you to get
just
wet,
just
right?
go. Just what you want, Don Don?
Well, actually, guys, I called in invite y'all to something else. I know you guys got to meet meet my buddy Legend the other day, and Legend wants everybody to come out to the track and everything. And I think Conrad, I think I invited you and Paige. That they got a good setup for us out there, and we're going to meet out there at 1:00. Anybody that wants to come. But on the game on Sunday, I wanted to invite everybody to our Horseman tailgate, and the tailgate is in the gravel lot, right next to the stadium, and the southwest corner of the lot. So anybody's welcome to come, and I hope all of you guys, Conrad, Molly, all of y'all can come. But
What time
Conrad,
does
if you do it
what
well,
time do the festivities start, Don? What time do people need to get
11
there?
o'clock.
11 o'clock.
11. It's from 11 to 1 because all of us. Some of the guys in the Horsemen, Boomers, some of them, they're involved in the pregame on the field and everything before the game. But from 11 to 1, guys.
All righty. Well, we will look forward to that, Don. Hopefully, a lot of people are going to be able to get out there on Sunday. And giddy up, Don.
Yes, sir. Giddy up, guys. Y'all have a good weekend.
Yep. You too, Don. Sure, we will see you at the game on Sunday. So, yeah, there you go. If you want somewhere to tailgate, you can do so. Hopefully it doesn't rain. But yeah, like Don said, I mean, hey, I'm going to be there rain or shine. Certainly would prefer the shine, but
Right.
hey, it is what it is. Like, little rain never hurt nobody.
Never.
And hey, there's a lot online. This is a big one. This is a big opportunity. We've spent a lot of the season talking about how honestly, just how bad the attendance has been at times. And I know there's been a lot of bad weather. You had Memorial Day, you had Mother's Day, you've had a lot of conflictions. But now, final home game of the season, postseason, chance to go play for a championship on the line. Let's make sure we get out there and support those Birmingham Stallions. So going to take our final break here, come back on the other side because there's some questions that I have for you, the listener, as well as Damien. And I'll go ahead and give one of them to you now. If you were listening to us on 3-Man Front yesterday, we talked about this. And I think you may have chimed in on Twitter about it. But I wanted to get your take, Damien, because we were talking about the worst or most frustrating seasons that you've ever had as a fan. And Damien has very unique fandom, as many of you love to point out. So I want to hear the most difficult season for Damien as a Titans fan and as a Tennessee Volunteers fan, because we know how big of a Tennessee Volunteers fan, maybe even Alabama basketball, because he's a big Alabama basketball fan too. So we'll get Damien's thoughts on that on the other side. You can chime in as well, 205-834-9450 if you didn't get to yesterday. What are the most frustrating seasons you've dealt with as a fan? And we'll just have a little fun, have a little college football conversation here on the other side of Morning JOX and JOX 94.5. 6:43. Welcome back in. Morning JOX here on Friday, getting your weekend started off right. McElroy and Kubick in the morning. They're coming up next from 7 to 10. That'll be Damian, Cole, G-Mac, and Saber. And then from 10 to 2, I will be back with Landrum Robertson, Molly Robinson for three-man front. Pat Smith will be back with us on Monday. And then, of course, you'll have Paul Feinbaum coming up from 2 to 6. And then the Atlanta Braves at 9:15. So you got some time to wait before the Atlanta Braves are on JOX later on tonight. But appreciate you tuning us in here this morning. And I just have to say this. I can't say the nickname on the air. But we were talking in the break, man, we gotta cool it with some of these nicknames that we're giving people. I just like some of the, because I just saw one for Tyrese Halliburton, and well, I can have a sense of humor about it, and it's funny. It's like, man, we really, as a society, just don't take anything seriously at all. Everything is open season for jokes now.
Yeah, you remember Whit Weeks, what his nickname was?
Yes.
That's why I was just like, we don't even care no more.
No, we don't. And I mean, I was telling Damien, I was like, man, I think it really hit me. And I know it happened before this, but it really hit me with that Titanic submarine when that became an immediate meme instead of, people actually died. It's like, yeah, but it was pretty funny, wasn't it? It's like, man, that's wild.
I mean, somebody who's had a, checkered past, when O.J. Simpson died.
Yeah, that
people did not care. I was like, man. Yeah, Twitter's it's a hell of a place, man.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've certainly is. Got a good dose of that yesterday as well. So but getting back to a couple of questions that I had, and I had posed for Damien as well as you, the listener, and I know Fanboy here, he's already chiming in with some of his thoughts. But Damien, I wanted to get your thoughts. So for you as a Tennessee Titans and Volunteers diehard fan, you've been both since the cradle. What is the most frustrating season or seasons that you have had to endure of your fandom?
One, I am a Tennessee Titans fan.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I thought you sprinkled Volunteers in there as well.
Maybe I did.
Yeah, no. But no, in all honesty.
Was it last year?
Yeah, it was last season. Because I think that, one, growing up, I guess because I was so young when the Titans actually made it to the Super Bowl, I had never seen them make it to a Super Bowl. And now, have there been frustrating games? 1,000%. Because we were the number one overall seed in 2021, and Joe Burrow decides to, show up. Even though we sacked him 9 times, they still win the ball game.
Yep.
But the most frustrating season I've had was last year because, one, we believed in Will Levis, and even me and even when he was coming out of Kentucky, I was just like, nope, this ain't gonna be it. And it's the first year without Derrick Henry. We were in total rebuild mode, and there was nothing positive. I will say this: we had the number 2 scoring defense in the whole National Football League, but we also were ranked 31st in the offensive points per game. We were literally wasting a generational defense because our offense was so inept. And we realized quickly that we didn't have a quarterback, we didn't have a first-string quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback in the room because Mason Rudolph was just as bad. And, having D-Hop there, wasting his time, sent him away to the Kansas City Chiefs of all teams in week 4.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here we go. And Calvin Ridley, yeah, he was a great addition, but we wasted his time. And I think last year was kind of just we realized quickly that Will Levis isn't the answer. And some of the plays that he was making, I mean, the first week of the season, we're up 17-6 over the Chicago Bears, and they come back and beat us. And again, he was known for mayonnaise and being a walking meme instead of what he's done on the football field as a good quarterback. And
I was about to say, he's probably better known for mayonnaise and having a hot girlfriend than his actual play on the field.
Yeah, and that was the epitome of Tennessee Titans football. But in the end, it gave us Cam Ward, so we're basically on our way to the Super Bowl this year. So
it was all worth it, right?
Right. And the same way with Marcus Mariota. Going into the 2015 season, it was, hey, we got a rookie quarterback. He set the record for most passing touchdowns in a rookie's first start. He's in Canton. Probably won't be at the end of his career. But
no, he won't.
He, for his first start, yes, he was him and Jameis Winston.
He'll be in Atlanta at the College Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, 1,000%, absolutely. He's one of the best college players to ever do it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Okay, so you said last year for Tennessee, any volunteer seasons?
Not one that I can remember. Maybe the
this
Joe
upcoming
Milton year,
season.
but you kind of expected it. You kind of expected it. Last year, they made it to the college football playoff. So
What about Alabama basketball? I'm just trying to hit all of your major fans.
There's a couple Anthony Grant years. There's a couple Avery Johnson years there. But nah, ever since Nate Oates got there, nope, we're good.
We're good now.
Roll Tide.
Well, those are that's Damien's experience there as his most frustrating season as a Tennessee Titans fan. Now let's go to the phone lines. I think this guy's become my new favorite caller, Deacon from Tuscaloosa. You've had some excellent calls this week, Deacon. So how are you doing on this Friday?
Oh, fellas, I'm hanging in there like a rusty fish hook. How y'all doing?
Oh, can't complain, brother. Can't complain.
brother.
So what is the most frustrating season you've ever been through as a fan, Deacon?
Well, we started the year, as I said, I am a absolutely rabid Alabama fan.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
All sports, even tiddlywinks, which brings into question the fact that is Damien humanoid or alien, because I do not understand how you can possibly pull for Alabama and Tennessee in the same body.
I agree, Deacon. Doesn't make any sense.
I digress. And as far as him picking a team, if you don't want to be Bama, we don't want you. So
Bingo.
you can go on and be a Hog fan. You can say hook 'em horns. You can do whatever you want to do.
You could be an Auburn fan.
Oh yeah, please go to Lee County. Go to Lee County. My most frustrating season has got to be the devastating year 2000 with Big and Mike DeBose as our head coach, starting the season number one team in the nation. We went 3-8.
Yep.
That was the precursor to the Vanderbilt hole, except that was in an interior wall. I've got a little cubby back there that I go hide in when we lose a game. That's embarrassing. I was in that cubby quite a lot this year, and like I said, if we lost to Vanderbilt again, the hole will be dug. I'll send pictures. But anyway, yeah, I don't understand Damien at all. How you can go balls and Roll Tide in
he's an enigma. Yeah,
I've never said I was a Tennessee Volunteers fan. I just like the coach. He just so happens to coach at Tennessee. I was rocking with him at UCF. I was even with him at Utah State and Oklahoma.
How long have you been a Tennessee fan?
Tennessee Titans since birth.
Tennessee Vols.
I've never been a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I've been a Josh Heupel fan for a long time.
Deacon, you're not going to get a straight answer for he can't do
It's
it.
the truth.
It's impossible.
He has issues. He has issues, and Conrad, I give you credit. You're on the radio with him every day, and you don't drink that much, so I'll give you props.
Thank you, Deacon.
Y'all have a good day.
You have a good one, man. Appreciate you calling in.
I rock with Deacon.
I was about to say, call in anytime, Deacon. We love your phone calls here on Morning JOX. So we're just having some fun with you, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
but y'all have to stop with the Tennessee love, because people really
because you're not a Tennessee fan anymore. Well,
I'm not.
I
am a Josh Heupel fan.
I'm pretty sure you were a big Tennessee fan when they beat Alabama.
Josh Heupel was the coach.
Big Tennessee fan.
Yeah, I wasn't in 2023.
Yeah, because they weren't very good.
I picked Alabama to win.
Yeah, because you knew.
Yeah, I knew they were going to win.
Yeah, because you'd rather be right than be a good fan.
No, it's football analysis. I knew it. I was breaking down the tape. I knew it was going to happen. Roll Tide. I'm a big Alabama guy, though.
Oh, sure you are. Sure you are. All right, let's go. Let's close out on the Courtesy GMC text line. Some of you chiming in. Some big questions coming down about Damien's fandom that we will be sure that he answers truthfully. Let's see. Nick, he chimes in this morning talking about the Braves. He goes, "It's always worse. You could be a Pirates fan." I don't know. Right now, at least you get to watch Paul Skeens every fifth day. Granted, you don't get to. Everybody else isn't helping him out a whole lot, but at least
he's doing everything he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah. No joke. No joking. Let's see. Joseph chimes in. He goes, "I want to know if you guys will do schedule predictions for the SEC and who you have winning the SEC this season." Man, we've got a while to go
I would
through
probably
that.
say around SEC Media Days, because we have to do our
we have to vote anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We'll do that later in the summer, just as we kind of get closer and start to have a better idea of things. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick right now, I mean, if I had to put money on somebody, I'd probably go Texas right now. I mean, if I have to give you a prediction right now, I'll maybe go on a little bit of a limb. Shocker, I know I'm going to say this. I would take Texas versus Alabama in the SEC championship.
I'm right there with you.
So, and I know, Georgia's certainly right there in the mix as well. LSU, if you want to throw them in there, South Carolina, there's a lot of options. But yeah, I'd go Texas, Alabama right now in the SEC championship game this on June the 6th. So we'll see how that pans out. Let's see. Fanboy, he chimes in. He says, my worst experience as a fan, not as a whole season, but anytime your team loses coming off of a bye week, you just had a whole extra week to prepare. How did you not win the game? Yeah, that is frustrating. I agree with that. Eric in Adamsville, he chimes in. He says the 2000 season for Alabama, just like Deacon said, was incredibly frustrating for him. You were a top 2 team coming into the season, and yet you only won 3 games. Let's see. Lewis says, have we narrowed Damian's fandom recruiting down to 10 yet? We need his top 5 in July, and then he'll be all in on Vandy by the time the season starts.
Vandy?
We'll see.
Alabama and Auburn are still out there.
And Bobby says, Deacon becoming one of the greatest callers in JOX history. I agree. He's doing a great job this week. Appreciate all of you. We're back Monday. McElroy and Kubik in the morning is next.